Many indigenous African oil and gas companies are taking key steps of taking their operations beyond the hydrocarbon industry and in line with the global energy transition to clean energy. In a sit-down interview with Rise Business correspondent Bosin Amofaye, the Group Chief Financial Officer at Living Energy, Adeyemi Osinubi, outlined suggestions for Africa's energy sector investments and the role that the continent's financial institutions play in the ongoing transition phase. Osinubi was speaking with Rise News at the Afreximbank's Intra-Africa Trade Fair 2023 that ended on Wednesday in Cairo, Egypt. Let's take a listen.
Very interesting to know the story of Living Energy and how you're transiting within the new horizon for energy around the world and in particular for Africa. Give me a brief overview of your company and what you're doing and the road ahead.
Thank you, Bosin. Our company is involved in the energy value chain. I think what drives us is to make sure that there is energy access and energy security for the country where we primarily started, which is Nigeria. So we began with trading, ensuring the supply for PMS, AGO, and trading crude oil for the last 8 years. But for the last 3 years, we've been transitioning into ensuring that other forms of energy that we're deficient in are supplied. So we have a gas distribution franchise in the Lagos area where we're trying to build a 50-kilometer pipeline because we just don't have enough natural gas for power. We want to distribute LPG because we're also cooking gas is something that penetration in Nigeria is only 6%.
The entire market.
The entire market is really, really small. Other comparative markets, about 20% penetration. And then finally, I think the major project that we're really excited in is we're building a 100-megawatt solar module assembly plant. We think that's going to be a game changer for Nigeria and perhaps even for the West African continent.
Very interesting. You're making a jump from the hydrocarbon industry to renewable energy, and you're looking at solar, and I'm sure you'll be looking at strategic areas within Nigeria and beyond Africa to bring something new into your energy portfolio. So how do you intend to scale this transition from fossil fuel trading, supply of natural gas into solar renewable energy form?
Yes, that's interesting because as climate change finance takes center stage, you'll find out a number of other parts of the energy value chain will struggle for global financing. And that's why we talk about a just energy transition where Africa is not punished in terms of energy access and financing to development. Afreximbank has been playing a really important part. They've been in that value chain from oil and gas, on the production side, on the trading side, but I think they're moving more to doing things with LPG access, gas distribution, especially on the solar side. So we would like Africans and African financial institutions to bring that focus to bear, make sure things that have to do with gas today is thought of as a transition gas. They used to frown at it, and now they're thinking even across the globe that this is an okay, it doesn't, the footprint in terms of the carbon footprint may be a little bit less. Mm-hmm. So we'd like financial institutions across the continent to put more focus, and we're seeing that response. It's really, really something that we feel will help us move towards the energy security that our continent needs.
What's the size of the investment of the renewable energy in solar that you're working on for Nigeria?
Oh my goodness. So the size of the investment, the particular investment we're making is about a $15 million investment to start with, but the market, as it were, is huge. For context, the Nigerian market utilizes about 20 gigawatts of power, of which only 4 of that is grid supplied. Everything else is from diesel generators. So the opportunity to supplant diesel generation is actually the market. Not to even talk about how many parts of the country aren't connected to the grid. I think about 30 to 40% of Nigerian population households don't have a grid connection. So distributed energy is the way to reach their mini grids and sort of solar IPPs across the country. And so we think that this solar assembly plant we're putting together will be able to serve that market. It's a huge market and it will be transformative.
Where are you locating this solar plant, and how soon are you putting a boot on the ground to get this production, to get this construction going? What's the timeline? Tell me.
So timeline is about August next year is what we expect. We've already ordered the machines. We're trying to, and we've secured the site. Is out of Lagos. It's an industrial part of Lagos, industrial layout. We've ordered long lead items from the manufacturers, from the OEMs, and so we're just putting together the environment and some of the other partners and off-takers that we require to make that investment. So August next year, knock on wood, we'll start to roll out our solar PV modules.
I know Afreximbank is one major partner, part of the backbone for what you're doing. But tell me about other partners in this project. What are they bringing to the table?
So to start with, we're discussing with local investors. So Nigerian banks are always an important part of the ecosystem, and they have deep experience in the energy industry.
Great.
So we're talking to the Bank of Industry to provide part of the debt for that project. We're talking to one of Shell's impact investment arm, All On, a part of the conversation to even put some equity. And it's not just equity, because they help us to also sort of convene participants, people who are developing great projects, building integrated power, PV. Anyone who is using solar modules in the country today is a potential partner to offtake from us. And we're really excited about that. It's going to be an all-comers affair in this case.
At the end of this project, when you turn on the machines, what do you think this would have brought to Nigeria's quest for industrial manufacturing in terms of changing the face of the country's economy and energy access for Africa's most populous country?
Well, we think it moves us forward in a really, really big way. For the solar energy industry particularly, when I worked at the IFC, one of the things we used to say was that we can't get on the road to power, sufficient power supply if you don't have local manufacturing of components. So just by undertaking this project, we think that would have moved Nigeria to that next step in terms of energy security, power for the people. Remember also that part of what makes business uncompetitive today is the cost of power and the cost of logistics. So to the extent that you're making investments and sort of in those two areas particularly, you're actually improving business productivity, business profitability, and we're making Nigeria a lot more competitive on the continent, but also globally.
I know Nigeria is big for you, 200 million people, huge potentials. Where do you go next at Levin Energy?
Oh my gosh! On the continent, I think West Africa will be the next logical place to play in. Those markets require a lot more integration, but I think that's happening a lot more. If we start getting linkages by train or even seaways, waterways, barges, and things like that, we think that you could start to distribute components across the West African coast. So West Africa is definitely a first port of call for us, and we look forward to engaging them.